Hello, I'm Lenny McGill, and as I stand before you, I have on or about my person concealed 11 different handguns. Now, this is by no means a record, as John Bianchi has on record 32 different handguns concealed on his person. But the purpose of what I'm trying to do is to stimulate your mind so that you can start to think how it would be best for you to carry a gun. Now, of course, there's a lot of different things that come into play: your body style, the type of clothes you wear, the type of gun you wish to carry, and your lifestyle. But before we go much further in this video, let me download these guns for you so you can see where I've got them carried. First, here's a Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum underneath the arm, no holster required. Next item I'm going to get is a Glock full-size gun. Back here in a small of the back is a SIG mid-size 229. Over here is your standard shoulder holster, Colt 45. Got another Colt 45 and inside the pants holster. And there, as you can see, there's some big guns coming out of my body. How about the ankle holster down here? Another smaller Glock, a Model 19. Back in my back pocket, I have a very unique holster. Here it is. It's a wallet holster that's made by Galco, and it conceals this Beretta 25. Here is a Pager holster, which conceals a 9mm. Back inside here, I have, there is a Taurus PT22. Here's my briefcase. And you can see inside the briefcase, I've got just a book. Well, let me pull that book out, open it up, and look at that. There's a concealed weapon as number 9. That's your little Airweight 442. And inside here, there is a Sigma, full size and .40 caliber. And so that's 10. And last but not least, underneath the table is 11. So as you can see, there are many different ways to carry a handgun, and that's what this program is all about. In fact, we're going to show you over 40 different ways to conceal and carry a handgun, plus lots more.
You'll see the fastest draw from concealment ever recorded on video, 0.68 seconds. Want to see it again? Carry methods for women, men, and large men. The most popular types of holsters from the world's best manufacturers. Several very unusual specialty types of concealed carry. Plus, easy to follow instructions on how to draw and shoot from concealment. Practice techniques you can use to increase your speed and accuracy. A complete reference and buying guide to every item demonstrated, and some of the most amazing concealment footage you'll ever see.
So don't go away, because you can see we've got many different, interesting, and unique items to cover in this program that I call Concealed Carry: Tips, Techniques, and Secrets of the Pros. Now, before we get started, let's talk about firearm safety as it pertains to concealed carry and concealment holsters. First, when you practice with your holster, and you need to do that to become familiar with it, always practice with an unloaded gun. In fact, I suggest that if you have a new holster and you're new to carrying that firearm in that holster, that you use the gun that you're going to be working with, as I have here, without any concealment clothing on. Basically, you strap the gun on the holster and you just learn to practice the drawing motion. Just learn the familiarity of where the gun is, the holster is, and how you can reholster. Now, obviously, when you start out, you're going to want to look at where the holster is or where the gun is so you can get a reference point. I've worked with this holster enough that I know exactly where it is. I can get a grip without looking at it. I can keep my eyes downrange. I can draw, point the gun, come back, and reholster, all in one motion without looking at the holster itself. And that's what you'll develop over time. But I would suggest to you that when you get your new holster, that you work with an unloaded gun just to become familiar with it. And if you don't practice with the holster, you have no business carrying the firearm out in the street. So you need to practice to become familiar with it. Now, the next safety tip that I want to impart to you is, as you practice your draw, notice one technique, and this is a very important technique that I will demonstrate to you. It will apply to all concealed carry draws, is as you go for the gun, watch where my trigger finger is, okay? Right here, it's outside of the holster, outside of the trigger guard, off of the trigger. As I pull the gun up, again, my finger is not on the trigger, not inside the trigger guard. You must develop this skill, this familiarity to always keep the finger off of the trigger in the drawing motion. And then once you present the gun downrange, that's when you can drop your finger into the trigger guard onto the trigger. All right, so you really want to practice that as you draw the gun, keep that finger away. Just learn to grab the gun with those 3 fingers there, keeping the trigger finger off of the trigger, away from the trigger guard. Straight down the frame is very preferable, and as you come up, then you can drop the finger down and execute the shot. All right, so that's a very important safety feature, and it also applies to reholstering. In fact, there's 2 tips for reholstering that I'd like to tell you. The first is, of course, keeping your finger off of the trigger as you reholster, and the second would be to keep your thumb, if it is an automatic pistol, on the slide, or if it's a revolver, keep your thumb on top of the hammer. So as you holster, you'll see that I'm actually keeping my finger away and I'm holding the slide down like so. That's the motion I'm trying to have. I'm trying to keep my gun in complete control, and understanding that if I didn't have my thumb on top of the slide, that there is a potential that I could knock the slide back a little bit if I were to bump it into the holster, which may disturb the cycling action or the ability of the gun to fire the next time I pull out. So always keep in mind that you want to keep the slide on automatic pistols secure with your thumb, your finger out of the trigger, off of the trigger, as well as if it's a revolver, keep your finger on top of the hammer so that nothing can happen. And then when you reholster, keep them in that position until the gun goes completely in, and then you're done. The other thing you'll notice too is that I'm reholstering with one hand, okay? I'm not putting my other hand back here to figure out where it's at. What you will do if you use that other hand is you'll have a tendency to sweep yourself, which is very dangerous. You never want to do that. So keep this hand away. Learn to do the whole process with one hand. When it comes to concealed carry, one of the most controversial issues will be, what type of gun should I carry? And I will tell you that a lot of that is a particular preference based upon your body style and the type of gun that you're used to or accustomed to shooting. However, you will find after a small amount of time that carrying a firearm, especially a full-size firearm, is not necessarily comfortable. You do get used to it, but it is something that takes some time, and if you're not very large framed and not a large person, carrying a large frame gun will be very difficult. So what I'm going to do here now is just demonstrate these 2 firearms, and we've got a whole bunch of other firearms we're going to show you the various weights and calibers of, but these 2 guns are really basically opposites. We've got an automatic Colt 45, and we've got a revolver, Smith & Wesson 442 air weight. This gun weighs about 2.5 pounds. This gun weighs about 1/2 pound. Obviously, it is much more comfortable to carry the smaller gun than it is the larger gun. However, the trade-off is the caliber, and I'll go ahead and point to this other camera here so you can see that the relative size of the bore, this on your left side would be the 45, on your right side is the 38. You can see that the bore size is significantly larger on the 45, hence it throws downrange a larger projectile, which would be more effective in a self-defense gunfight. Now what we're going to show you right now is a selection, a cross-section of guns, the weight of those guns, both loaded and unloaded, to give you an idea of what the variations would be for your reference points to determine what kind of gun would be best for you to carry.
The Beretta 950BS Jetfire is the first and smallest gun we'll compare. It holds 8 rounds of .25 caliber ammunition in its magazine, and it's just 4.7 inches in length and 3.4 inches in height. Unloaded, it weighs 0.6 pounds, and fully loaded with 8 rounds, it weighs just 0.7 pounds. The Smith & Wesson Airweight Model 442 is a classic concealed carry firearm. It holds just 5 rounds of .38 special ammunition and is 6.5 inches in length and 4.25 inches in height. Unloaded, this pocket pistol weighs slightly less than 1 pound, while with its full complement of 5 rounds, it weighs in at 1.15 pounds. The Glock Model 19 is the scaled-down version of the Model 17. It fires 9mm ammunition and holds 15 cartridges in its magazine. Overall dimensions are 7.25 inches by 4.5 inches. Unloaded, the Glock Model 19 weighs in at 1.37 pounds, and fully loaded with 15 rounds of 9mm ammunition, it weighs 1.7 pounds. The Glock Model 22 is a full-sized handgun that is chambered to shoot .40 caliber ammunition. It measures 7.28 inches by 5.25 inches and holds 15 rounds in its magazine. Unloaded, this gun weighs just less than 1.5 pounds, and loaded, it weighs 2.01 pounds. The Smith & Wesson Model 66 with its 2.5-inch barrel is still a full-size revolver, chambered to fire .357 ammunition. Overall dimensions are 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches. Unloaded, it weighs a whopping 1.9 pounds, and loaded with 6 rounds of .357 ammunition, it comes in at 2.12 pounds. Another Smith & Wesson revolver is the Model 686, featured here with a 4-inch barrel. It also fires the .357 caliber cartridge and holds 6 rounds of ammunition. Dimensions are just under 9.5 inches in length and 5.75 inches in height. Unloaded, this gun weighs 2.56 pounds, and loaded, it weighs 2.78 pounds. The Taurus PT-92 is a full-sized handgun chambered to fire 9mm ammunition. It holds 15 rounds in its magazine. Overall length is 8.5 inches and 5.3 inches in height. Unloaded, this gun weighs 2.1 pounds, and loaded with 15 rounds, it comes in at 2.51 pounds. And last, the 1911 .45 caliber automatic pistol is the pinnacle of a fighting handgun. It is the largest of all the handguns we have compared here, with dimensions of 8.59 inches in length and 5.5 inches in overall height. Unloaded, it weighs 2.2 pounds, and loaded with 8 rounds of .45 caliber ammunition, it weighs 2.56 pounds.
What can you carry day after day without it becoming burdensome, cumbersome, or to the point where you just leave it at home because it's not comfortable? And that's a thing you're going to have to weigh in your own lifestyle decision based upon the type of clothes you're able to wear, based upon the climate, the type of work you have. All those things are going to come into play when you select the firearm that you're going to carry on a regular basis. Everyone in this audience who's watching should know that there are certain types of ammunition that are designed for self-defense, and there are certain types of ammunition that are designed for target practice. Self-defense ammunition, on a rule or as a whole, is of the hollow point design. And if John's camera could get in here close, I want you to go ahead and take a look at the hollow point design. This is a .45 caliber bullet. This is a 9mm round of ammunition. Okay, both the bullets are the projectiles that come out of the barrel. You can see how much larger the .45 caliber is than the 9mm. You can also see that both of these have a hole or a hollow point in the ammunition. This is what makes a self-defense round effective compared to a target practice round or just a piece of lead. Not to say that those rounds of ammunition are not deadly. All ammunition is deadly. This type of ammunition is designed to open up and to expand, and that's what the hollow point will do. Make sure that you have ammunition that was designed for self-defense. What we want to talk about now is the concept of the draw. And regardless of what type of holster you use, the principles I want to talk about can be applied to your particular holster. Now, I'm wearing Galco's Firm system. This is the Firm belt with the Firm, it's a belt slide holster holding a Glock Model 22 back here. Now, again, use your own holster and apply the principles we're talking about on how to draw with your holster. And again, I can't stress enough that you have to work with an unloaded gun. Always, before you start, check the action, make sure the gun is unloaded, pull the trigger in a safe direction, and then go ahead and do your holster. And watch how I reholster again. Fingers off the trigger, thumb is holding down the slide, come back, and with practice, you can do it without having to even look at it. You just feel or access or remember where it's at. Now, for the draw, when I go for the draw, the first thing I'm going to do is stand there, get the hand on the gun, and bring it up. All right? Now, let's go ahead and see it from another angle. First thing to do is we're going to get the gun and bring it up. All right? Now, I will remind you again that we're not in a speed contest here. We are in a familiarization mode. We're just trying to understand how our body reacts to the different motions. Everybody's body is different. Everybody has a different body style. You've got to work with yourself, and you've got to take your time. This is not going to be something you're going to learn overnight. It's going to take hours and hours of practice, and you always want to start practicing with an unloaded gun. Now, let me go ahead and put my jacket on to simulate the concealed carry mode, and you'll see that this particular holster hides the gun very well. The gun's right here. As I stand here, as I walk and move around, you really can't see the gun at all. Now, to go ahead and draw from this concealed carry position, and regardless of what concealed carry position, the principle always remains the same. The thing we want to do is we want to learn to clear the clothing. Okay, I'll turn to the side here, and in slow motion, I want to learn to clear the clothing. All right, that's all I'm trying to do, clear the clothing, just to get a good firm grip on the gun. I don't even want to worry about drawing. Okay, see how I got that grip? Now, you'll find various techniques depending upon the type of carry you perform or that you choose, but the idea is to come up with a technique that allows you to clear the clothes and get a grip. Clear the clothes, get the grip. And I'll do it one more time. Watch my thumb with this particular holster. Clear, grip. All right? Now, to put it all together, let's just see if we can go with a fast one. Clear, grip. All right? One more time. And you'll see what is happening here. I almost instinctively crouch down because I'm looking for more power, more speed. Clear, grip, boom. And you'll see that over the course of time, you will develop your own technique. Now, one of the things I want you to pay attention to, as I reholstered, I grabbed hold of my shirt. Not a good practice, all right, because that's just going to bind you up. So now I'm going to go ahead, get that shirt out of the way. Make sure it's nice and neat and tucked in for the carry. Remember, you're in a practice mode. These things are going to happen, but that's why we're practicing, so you can observe when they happen and then correct them before you make a mistake. Again, we're going to clear, clear, looking for that grip. Clear, looking for a grip. Clear, boom. All right? Let's try it one more time. Again, always start from ground zero. Make sure those pants are in the right position, the shirt is in the right position, the jacket's in the right position, that you would simulate the carry you would have in the real-world environment. This is something that I would carry in a real-world environment. It's very comfortable. You see, you can't even see the weapon back there, but when I'm ready to draw, clear the clothes, out it comes.
When practicing your draw, strive to develop the technique of going to the gun with a controlled motion. Not necessarily slow, but not fast either. Make sure you get a good grip on the handgun, and then and only then can you draw and present the gun to the target. And this is the critical step. A good grip is necessary to be able to draw the gun. And at this step, you can start to accelerate your speed by really starting to push the gun out to the target. So again, reviewing the key elements of a safe draw from concealment. First, clear the clothing, expose the gun. Second, move your hand to the gun in a controlled motion. Third, acquire the firm, good, and proper grip on the firearm. And fourth and last, point the gun at the target. start to accelerate right here. Once you have that firm grip, you can really start to accelerate the gun to the target. Okay, now before you get to the range, it's extremely important that you've spent the time at home with an unloaded gun in a dry fire situation, dry fire practice situation, to develop the dexterity and the comfort that you need to be able to draw the gun and present it to the target without really a whole lot of thinking. It has to almost happen automatically. And you need to be able to reholster automatically. And that only comes with practice and time spent at home with an unloaded gun. Do not come to the range to try to develop that dexterity skill. Regardless of what type of holster you're working with, you need to spend the time at home with an unloaded gun to become proficient with the manual dexterity skills that you need to draw and present the handgun. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what I've got set up here and how I like to practice some of my drills. You can see downrange here I've got two different IPSC style targets, and one is set up at about head height, about normal 6 foot length or height. This one is a little shorter, probably he's probably about 5'8". Okay, so we've got two different heights. And another thing I have here is a round 8-inch paper plate. The reason I've got this plate is that if you don't have these targets, this round plate seems to be a very good aiming point. If you can keep your shots within this 8-inch plate on a regular basis, a consistent basis, you're a good shooter. So this round plate is going to simulate a hit zone, and you can do that with just a plate and any old piece of cardboard. So that's just a little hint for you. I've got three distances that I'm going to work with. The first distance is right here. It's 7 feet. 7 feet is a very good distance to practice. All right? That's what they say in all the FBI reports and a lot of the gun magazines. They all write about the 7-foot distance because 80% of gunfights happen within a 7-foot distance. The next distance I have marked off here is 12 feet, 4 yards, and this is another very good distance. You can see that this could be something where someone is starting to enter into your personal space. They're starting to get close. And if they have a weapon at this distance, you certainly do want to be able to take a shot, and you do want to be able to train from this distance and make sure that you have put the time in at this distance so that you have some confidence level if you ever need to take a shot out here. And the last distance I've got marked off, and hopefully you're able to see how much smaller the target starts to look, is 21 feet or 7 yards. And again, this is about the perimeter, the boundary of where in a court of law, if you shoot someone in a self-defense arena, regardless if they have a weapon or not, that at this point the jury may say, well, gosh, they're pretty far away from you. Couldn't you have just turned around and ran? Couldn't you have got cover and got out of there? And that's what you've always got to start thinking in your mind. At this distance, obviously, they're not going to be on top of you instantly. It's going to take about a second or 2 seconds for them to get physically on your presence. If they have a weapon, they certainly could shoot you, but you also have an opportunity now at this place and beyond is to get out of there to avoid the situation altogether. So at 21 feet is where I'm going to draw the line for my self-defense concealed carry practice. And when we talk about this concealed carry shooting practice, I think the most important thing we've got to remember here is that we're talking about self-defense shooting, not target shooting. All right? Target shooting is where we have the leisure to bring the gun up, to observe the sight, to squeeze the trigger, let the gun recoil, and then take another shot. In self-defense shooting, you have none of those time leisures. You have to get the gun up and into play as quickly as possible. All right? What we're looking for here is just get that gun up and thrust it to the target. We have to be able to execute the shot once the gun is presented downrange. We have to have had the training and practice to know that every time we put the gun out there, that it will line up with the shot or the place on the target that we want to hit.
And that only comes with practice. And again, I want you to differentiate target shooting from self-defense shooting. And as we advance into this drill here today, I want you to notice a lot of things that I'm going to be doing. In particular, with self-defense shooting from concealment, I feel that a lot of your training should be done with one-hand shooting. And there's a reason for this. Regardless of the type of carry you have, usually this other hand will be doing something to clear the clothing or to get yourself able to draw. Now, from this rear guard position, I've got back here today the Galco rear guard holster with a Glock 22 in it, 40 caliber. With this particular carry, I can do most of the work with one hand: sweep, bring up, and present. However, I feel from the training that I've done that that one-handed shot is much more accurate because it just flows out to the target that much better, as if I'm punching to the target. When I start to bring that second hand in there, I start to bind up on this jacket, okay? This is something you would wear. Now, this is a consideration for your self-defense concealed carry clothing, is can you really get a two-handed grip? Well, with this jacket, it gets a little tight. So when I shoot like this, I want to shoot out here like that. That's the mode of carry, the mode of shooting that I'm going to take with this particular draw. Now, a lot of people may say, well, it's better to shoot with two hands. Well, that's true. It is better to shoot with two hands because you have better control of the gun and you have a better chance to make a subsequent second shot and or third shot. However, I will profess to you, as I unload this gun totally, to make sure that we're talking about an unloaded gun here, because I'm going to point it at the camera. Observe what's going to happen here. I make the draw, come up, here's the two-handed shot, all right? Look at my posture. Look at my body. What do you see? Obviously, you see the muzzle. Obviously, you see my full shoulders, my full chest, my full torso, all the way down, totally exposed. All right, now look at that. There's that two-handed famous shot that a lot of people say this is what you have to do every time. Look at this shot. Draw, shoot. What do you see? Obviously, you see the muzzle. But how much of my chest do you see? How much of my torso do you see? Do you see about half of the target? If you're the bad guy shooting at me, am I giving you half of the target to hit versus a full frame here? So I think it's very important for you to start to consider that shooting in a self-defense mode is not a target practice, is not a competition. I don't have the leisure to stand up here straight and shoot all day long. Well, certainly I can do that. I may want to train myself to be able to shoot from that angle and be able to index the target every time and present a smaller target to the opposing force. So that in a sense, this is survival shooting, not just self-defense, not just a full-on competition style. This is survival, shooting small, shooting fast, being aggressive with the gun. All right, now let me bring it to another point. The grip of the gun, how I think of my grip in a self-defense shooting situation. If you remember when you first started shooting, and we all heard this, that people say, get a grip on the gun as if it were a firm handshake, all right? Well, let's see, maybe Dave's camera over here can get a good close-up shot of a firm handshake. Move in here, Dave, real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. A handshake, when you shake someone's hand, and Dave, extend me one of your hands here real quick so I can just go ahead and show you what we're talking about here. When you shake someone's hand, usually you put yourself in a passive way, a passive situation. You don't want to overbear the person you're shaking hands with. You're greeting them. You're being kind to them. You're opening up to them. It could be firm, but certainly not aggressive because that's not polite. All right? So what I am going to say to you is that in target shooting, that passive, firm grip may be okay. But in self-defense shooting, I'm looking for
a little bit more aggressive a grip. Now, if Dave gives me his hand one more time, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. A normal handshake, we're equal. If I want to get aggressive with him, think about Indian wrestling. I want to jump around on top of him. I want to turn my hand around so that I can control him. All right, that's what I want to do with the handgun. I want to control the handgun. I don't want to be neutral. If you look at a handshake here, and if we get in nice and close, this is a neutral handshake. See how the gun feathers away from my palm? Okay, now that's neutral, that's passive in my mind. I want to be a little bit more aggressive. I want to turn that handgun around, and I want to line that butt of the gun into the palm of my hand. I want it to be right in the middle. That's where the power is. I don't want the butt of the gun coming off here like so, like a handshake. I want to go ahead and line my palm up exactly in the center of the butt of the gun, the center of the barrel, where all the action is taking place, where the combustion of the round is taking place. So as I get my grip in a self-defense mode, I'm looking to be very aggressive, to line up, and I'll show you my bone right here, to line up this bone in my arm with the barrel and the grip of the gun. I don't want to hold it like this. That's a handshake. Look what's happening. Look where the gun is. Look where my arm is. No wonder the gun wants to jump out. I want to turn that gun and I want to put it straight down that bone. I want to line that bone up so that I've got a full force when I take the shot. If I choose to add that weak hand, I'll put the weak hand, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it right on the grip of the gun. My palm right on the grip. I'm going to push it in there and I'm going to support it like that. All right? There's a two-handed hold for self-defense aggressive shooting. Trying to keep that gun line straight up. As soon as I put that arm in there, it has a tendency to want to move it around. So I really feel that for concealed carry shooting, self-defense shooting, this one-handed thrust is your best bet. So let's go ahead and load up and see if we can prove it to you. Okay, again, we always want to refer to our fundamentals. We always want to be safety conscious when we're working with live ammunition. Got my shooting glasses on. I've got my ear protection on. I'm going to be very cautious, always working for safety first. Speed is not a concern here, okay? And that's how you've got to think about it at home. Don't worry about your speed, it will come. I've done this many times, and it just comes with the practice. I'm looking at the target here. We're at 7 feet, and let's see how we can do. First shot, good hit. Probably not a bad time either. Again, what I'm looking to open up the jacket, get the gun. Open up, get the gun. Again, there we are. Into my area. Look at, I'm holding the slide down, fingers away from the trigger. I want to go ahead and holster. Conceal. Throw the jacket back. Two shots. Again, I'm preferring to practice at this time with the one-handed hold only. All right, if I change my body around a little bit, come here, try to shoot small. There we go, a little, had a miss there in a sense, but still an effective shot. Again, coming back, open up. Now you see, wasn't a good grip. So I'm not going to go ahead and shoot. I'm going to take the time just to wait here. Two real good shots there. As you'll probably notice, these are not as fast as the draws that I've done in the studio, but again, I'm going to remind you that safety is more important than speed. All right? It'll come with you. All you have to do is practice. Let's do that two-handed hold now. See, I feel that that's a little slower for me because I've got to anchor those two hands, and plus this jacket wants to bind on me. If I had a bigger jacket, obviously I wouldn't have that problem. Now let's see if I can do something, another realistic version. That's my last shot. And a holster. Coming down and look at my target, you'll see that all my shots except one are inside of my 8-inch plate. That's the kind of accuracy that I'm looking for in a self-defense situation. I feel I could do that 99% of the time, as I've basically illustrated to you here. And although this is a short distance, just 7 feet, that's the kind of distance you need to practice. These are the kind of shots you need to practice when you go to the range. We're not looking for bullseye accuracy. We're looking for self-defense, aggressive fire, and you've got to start at 7 feet. Now let's move back to the next distance with the same firearm. Okay, we move back now to the 12-foot or 4-yard position. And again, at this position, the same remains true. Always work for your technique, not speed, especially when you're working with live ammunition. All right, I'm working with this Glock 22, 40 caliber. This is my preferred gun of carry, still in the Galco rear guard holster. Load it up, holster. Got my target. I'm looking at that exact spot on the target I want. Clear, open up, squeeze the shot. Nice hit. You can see it's right centered up in the plate. The concept is I want to thrust that gun downrange. Clear, thrust. All right, a little low there. When I do it slow like that, I have a tendency to miss, so let's see if I can speed it up and get it in there. And of course, you always want to try the singles, the doubles, possibly even 3 shots. All touching the target. And that is my 8-inch circle down here at this 4-yard distance. You can change your feet up a little bit, turn around, draw. All right. Maybe this time I'm going to do something a little bit more stealth-like. Come in, grab, shoot from here. See where it ends up. All right. Got to try just about everything because anything could happen. Make sure that when you're at the range, you give yourself the opportunity to practice different styles of shooting. Don't always get into the habit of shooting one particular way. So I'll just get my feet situated here, maybe shoot instead of the full thrust, see if I can do just half. All right, watch my reholstering technique. And again, from another spot. There they are. Looking at the target, you can see again, we've got pretty good accuracy. All my shots except for 2 have ended up in the plate. I've changed clothes now to my favorite form of carry, which by now you should know is the inside the waistband here at the appendix position. I've got the Glock again, because it is the gun that I train with a lot. The Galco rear guard holster. You can see how concealable this is. As I turn around, give you the full view, but yet it's instantly available when I want to go ahead and present the gun to the target. And we're out about here at about 7 feet, maybe 8 feet now. I'll go ahead and load it up. Now you can see what I'm doing is I've got that one hand, the left hand clear, and then present. All right? All right, nice shooting.
right in the center there. You can see how fast it can be with this particular carry. I can be in that combat stance if I want, or be a little bit more casual. And now let's try to shoot small, okay? Remember that small position we talked about earlier. Comes out pretty fast. Watching the technique. Clear, grip, and shot. But you'll see I've got the best speed straight up here. Make sure you're totally concealed. Let's do this stealth, all right? Do a stealth, nice easy turn. Okay, remember we're always gonna practice fundamentals. Clear, up, turn the gun, punch and squeeze. Then load it, look at my finger, thumb, in goes. Totally concealed. And as you can see, the technique, again, thrust it out, pull the trigger. And I'm going to take a moment here to talk about that trigger pull. The thing you're going to find out when you start getting into self-defense, aggressive style shooting is that the trigger pull is not a trigger press as it is in bullseye shooting or as in target shooting. This is an aggressive pull. I want to know when this trigger is going to go off. I don't want any second guesses or surprises how you would in a bullseye. They say let the target or let the trigger surprise you. In this self-defense arena, I want to pull that trigger off aggressively, and I want to know that when I'm out here it's going to go off, and that when I squeeze it and I control this handgun, the gun's not going anywhere except where I point it. I'm going to dominate this gun. I'm going to thrust it to the spot that I'm looking for. I'm going to control the pinpoint accuracy that I desire. And you only get that through aggressive shooting. Don't be afraid to pull on that trigger just to make sure that the positive ignition is it comes when you want it. And the only other thing you have to worry about now, I'm not going to say yank on the trigger, but I'm going to say pull on it hard. Just make sure you don't press either way. That when you pull back, you pull straight back. You don't push or pull the muzzle off a line. You get the gun up there and pull on that trigger and dominate where the round's going to go. A lot of people are under the misconception that little guns, small pocket guns, don't shoot very accurately. Well, I've got two guns that I'm going to demonstrate to you that I feel will change your opinion. Of course, they don't carry the same punch as a full-size either 40 caliber or 45 caliber or even a 38. This is the Beretta Jetfire. It's a 25 caliber in the Galco wallet holster. All right, so let me go ahead and turn down range here now. I've got the Galco wallet holster, and it is loaded at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and cock the hammer. And we'll prepare to shoot at our target, which is approximately 7 or 8 feet downrange. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop it in my pocket and keep my hand on it. Now to extract the gun, you'll see that I can't just do it like that. I've got to always hold on to the pocket, and then I'm going to pick up and just point right downrange at my white plate here. Ready? So I'm going to hold on to the jacket, pick it up. And you can see you can get fairly decent accuracy with this gun, as Dave's camera will give you a zoom in to show you what we're talking about down there. So with this little 25, out of this wallet holster. It's fairly effective and not a bad option. Now, the next thing I want to show you is the other mini gun that we've been working with extensively in this video. It's the 442. I've got it here concealed in the Bianchi inside the pants concealment holster. I will be working with this much like I did the other inside the pants. The same concept is true, although here I've got the jacket on. I've got to make sure that I clear both items, okay? Both items, and get the grip, and then go right at it. Boom, get the grip and come up. So it's clear, grip, up, and point. Now this is a smaller gun, so it doesn't have quite as big a grip, so it's a little bit more difficult to get used to. You can see shooting the .38 caliber, it's fairly easy to get up, get to the gun, and squeeze the trigger. Took a little extra time there because I just wanted to make sure that I was lined up. Up, squeeze. And again, not bad accuracy for this little gun. The concept being, pay attention to the fundamentals. Thrust the gun to target, squeeze the trigger. Now, sometimes when you're at the range, make sure you practice the unusual shooting positions, the stealth draw, the surprise shooting scenarios. Now, when I say that, imagine you're the bad guy, I come back and turn, here comes the gun, all right? You want to practice these things because, gosh, they may happen someday. You don't always want to broadcast your draw. So you come back here, shoot from here. All right, a great shot. You can see right there in the middle of the plate, just by indexing and pointing. Come up, shoot. Not difficult at this distance. We're only talking about 7 feet. It does take practice, but that's what they're ranged for. We want to practice. Want to draw, don't let them see the draw. Come up and shoot. Again, draw, conceal the draw, and thrust the gun right at them. As you come across, you're thrusting the gun right at the target. You can be surprised how great accuracy you can have just by squeezing the trigger right at the target. Okay, now in closing this shooting segment, I want to go over the fundamentals again that I expect you to try next time you go to the range. Remember, this is not a target shooting drill. This is a self-defense, aggressive shooting drill. We want to shoot fast. We want to shoot aggressively. We want to be very martial artist in our stance and our mindset. I want to be very exacting as to where I'm placing the shots. I'm going to finish up here with my favorite gun, the .45 caliber, built by Wilson's Gun Shop, customized. Safety's on, fingers off. Remember, when we holster, always maintain those safety principles. Keep your finger out of the trigger. In this drawing scenario, we want to go ahead and clear, up, safety off, boom. There's our shot. And again, be more aggressive with the pull this time. Open. There's the shot. Up, grip, up. There's the shot we're looking for. So you can see, even with the full-size .45, you can be extremely accurate if you follow the fundamentals. Clear, grip, thrust, squeeze. Slow it down for accuracy first. Safety, accuracy, and then speed. It'll all come to you with practice.
For those of you who don't think you could handle a full-sized 40 caliber or 45 caliber, here's my wife Tammy. She's 5'7", 112 pounds. She's firing a full-sized Glock 40 caliber for the first time. And look at the results. 2 excellent hits. How does she do it? Great fundamentals for aggressive self-defense shooting. Notice first the stance. More than half of her body weight is forward of her frame. In other words, she's leaning into it. Not too much, but enough to control the gun. Remember, the gun weighs just 2.5 pounds. It fires a cartridge that weighs much, much less than that with just a little bit of gunpowder in it. It's easy to control the gun. Now, this is very important. Look at her grip. One-handed. Pretty amazing, isn't it? She's squeezing the grip very aggressively to control the gun. In target shooting, you don't want to squeeze the grip because it causes you to tremble or shake. So at 25 yards, as in bullseye shooting, you're going to be way off the target. But with self-defense shooting, the distances are typically only 7 to 12 feet. So your acceptable accuracy is greatly enlarged. As I showed in the video, The Truth About Point Shooting, it's easy to get vital zone hits with realistic shooting stances. And that's another excellent point. When you practice, shoot from different stances that you think are realistic. Abandon the typical target shooting stance and grip and apply these guidelines to develop self-defense shooting accuracy.
Let's talk now about belt slide holsters, and obviously you need to be wearing a belt to wear these holsters properly. I've got on now the Firm system, which I showed you earlier. It's a 1¼ inch dress belt with the matching holster that goes back there in the kidney area. It's designed for a Glock 22, gives you a chance to carry the gun concealed. You can see even from this viewpoint, as you see me here, you really can't see that I have a gun because of the way my arms are. If I were to pick my arms up, you could probably see it. Just tilt my body around a little bit more and you won't see it. With a jacket on or a sweater over this, a long sweater or even a long shirt, you can also conceal this gun very effectively with this type of holster. The belt slide holsters all are in this category. I've grouped them together so that they are all similar. Most of the holsters that we're talking about now, the belt slides, if you see what's happening here, the actual slide itself is canted. The actual loop that they have sewn into the holster is canted. And I'll show you another one here from Safariland. Both of these are at about the same angle. And that angle corresponds to the right hand. Now they do make these for left-handed as well, because you see what's happening. Same is true over here on the Firm system that I've got back here. It too is canted to enable the gun grip and butt to point up to my hand as I come back on it. If it were straight up, it would be much more of an awkward angle to get back to that. So they have designed these so that the gun itself is tilted up and facing that direction, so it's a little easier for me to get the grip. Now let me go ahead and actually take this holster off that I've got on. Again, always working with unloaded guns. You can never check to see the gun's unloaded enough. Take the belt off. First of all, you want to just go ahead and pull it straight through, pull it straight out. And if you were to have your holster, think about it before you even put the belt on. Where do you want to carry it? Let's see. I kind of like it back there myself. Much further back, it gets a little hard to get to. So right here, this is the spot right above your kidney, right above your cheek of your butt. That's where you want to keep it. That's the best area for concealment, as also it gives you the best reason or best ability to get to the gun when you need to. So I'll go ahead now and just loop my belt through, making sure I don't miss any of my belt loops, because you certainly will find that your belt loops are very important when carrying a gun. And now I know this is where I want the holster to reside, right in this area. So first thing I need to do is make sure that the belt is centered where I want it to be. Then I want to go ahead and I want to bring the belt through the slot all the way down. And then feed it through. Otherwise, it gets much more difficult
to work through, and that feels good. Remember, I buy these belts for carry about 2 inches larger than my normal size. You're going to want to crank it down a little bit because you want it to be tight. And I'll show you why, because once you have it on and it feels good, you're going to find it's going to change dramatically once you go ahead and holster a gun, because now you've entered about 3-4 pounds into your side, and if you don't have a good belt, it's going to feel very uncomfortable. The belt is the major emphasis of comfort when you carry a big gun, especially in this type of holster. If you don't have a good belt, if you've got a department store little skimpy belt, it's not going to feel good. So you have to invest in a high quality belt that has some rigidity to it, has some heft to it. It's a little thicker leather. Now looking at this holster and how it fits, you can see that it's through the belt loop, it's secure. I want to pull the gun out, it comes out easy. Want to reholster, it goes in, I can get to it. Even after I wear this for a while, and I suggest that you do this before you even take it out in the street per se, is wear it around the house, you'll start to feel that maybe it's a little looser than I like it. Can I crank that belt down one more notch without being totally uncomfortable? And will that make it actually feel more secure? And then, is my buckle centered? And you can see my buckle starting to get a little off center. So what I need to do now is I need to go back in, take this off a little bit, and pull that gun back around, because as I have cranked it down here, I've actually come down too far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and pull it down just a little bit more so that it resides back there even a little further. And this is how you fit a holster to your body. It's just a series of trial and error. You just have to kind of put it on, get a feel for it. How's it feel? Where does it fit? Make it work for you. Now notice I've got dress pants on. I'm doing this on purpose because a lot of you out there are going to have to wear dress pants. I don't want to just do this in jeans. I want to let you know you can wear a belt like this with dress pants or one of the other ones. And you can carry a full-size handgun wearing dress pants and a jacket over top of you. You can see now that the belt looks comfortable. It feels good. The gun is tight, close to my body, and that's extremely important for comfort. This next holster is the small of the back holster. You can see I'm using an unloaded gun. I would suggest that you do the same. To look at this one, it's basically back here. It holds the gun more horizontal, again with a slight slant so that the grip is available and accessible to your hand. You can go right back to the grip, access the draw, bring it back in, and it's very nicely concealed in somewhat of a contemporary dress style where I've got a t-shirt, a long overshirt, pair of jeans, very casual, but with the ability to conceal a full-sized handgun. All right, so that is the small of the back holster. It's built by Galco. This next belt slide holster is made by Bianchi. It's their AccuMold product. I'm concealing a full-size Smith & Wesson 686 revolver. The holster is not a leather holster, but rather a nylon and or a plastic design. The AccuMold is molded around the gun to give you a secure platform to hold the gun. And it also has a thumb snap. First holster we've seen with the thumb snap. I'll show you basically what we're trying to do is we want to get in there, release the thumb snap first. While we have a firm grip on the gun, pull out for the draw. Again, I'll always verify that I do have an empty gun. I want you to do the same thing when you're doing your practice. When I go to reholster, keep my finger out of the trigger, hold the hammer down, in it goes, bring my snap around, and snap. There it is secure. That's the concealed carry. You can see that it is concealed for the full-size Smith & Wesson gun, but readily available when I need it. And let's move on to the next item. Okay, the next category we're going to talk about are inside the pants, or IWB, which is inside the waistband holsters. And they're referred to either way, but usually the manufacturers will call them IWB, inside the waistband. And I've got one on here. This is Galco's version. And you can see the only thing exposed are the loops that attach it to the belt. The gun, and I'll pull the shirt up just a little bit so you can see it, is my Glock. I can get into it, get a good solid grip on the gun, pull it out,
still have the ability to reholster just by going right back in the same spot. I really like inside the waistband or inside the pant holsters, and I think that most people who carry on a regular basis like them too for several reasons. One, they are lower profile. You can't see as much of the gun or the holster as with the regular belt loop holsters. And two, they really hold the gun in because the belt is on top of them. The disadvantage or the drawback is that you usually want to order a size pant 1 or 2 sizes larger, whether it be if you wear a 32 or 34, you order a 35 or 36. Two, the belt size absolutely has to be larger than your normal belt size because you do eat up a lot of the length with this belt going around the full size of the gun. The next inside the waistband or inside the pants holster I will show you is from Bianchi. This one holds a small revolver, which is kind of nice, and because it's a smaller holster, you have a little bit more option as to where to store this. Now, obviously, I've shown you a lot of holsters back in this area. Why don't I go ahead and show you something a little different here? And this would all depend on what kind of jacket or what kind of shirt you're wearing, if you're wearing a sweater. But here's how I'd stick this on, just to kind of give you some different options to play with. Okay, that's what you would see out the front there. This holster does actually rotate a little bit, so I want to have it up straight up and down. Put my gun straight in, and the thumb snap goes right around the front there. And there's a carry. Now, you would imagine this carry with a sweatshirt over top of it or a long shirt. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we're back now. You can see obviously I've got my sweatshirt on, and I want to show you there's the concealed carry that we're looking for. All right, there you get the gun out nice and quick. Again, the techniques that we talk about are always the same. When you reholster, keep that finger off the trigger. But that's how this holster could be applied, especially all the inside the pants, because you can see all the way around that the sweater will cover the holster itself and the gun, and you really feel secure because you know the gun's under your belt, it's close to your body, it's there when you need it, and it comes out nice and quick. And that's the trick with the inside the waistband holsters. The concept always remains the same. You've got to get that hand on the weapon and bring up the play, okay? That's the trick here. Always the same. Remember, for my holstering, I always want to practice proper technique. Keep my finger off the trigger, thumb on top of the slide. Find it, push it down. I'm wearing the Ian Martin version of this holster, and I'll show you some of the unique features of it in just a moment, but we're going to talk again about the draw. Come back, get the grip on the gun, bring it straight up, and execute the shot. Now, to look at this holster real quick, one of the unique features that Ian has developed into this, again, you can see that it is slanted towards my grip. If you'll notice what he's done is he's put another piece of leather up top here, which keeps the gun off of your shirt or off of your skin. And I tell you what, if you fire a gun a lot and you wear some shirts, you'll know that there's a lot of oil and a lot of grease that can build up here. And the last thing you want to do is start to soil your shirt. So this extra piece of leather that he puts here seems to be very, very helpful. Next item I want to see is one more holster. It's from Kramer Leather. It is an inside the waistband holster for a Glock. And because this one has no tilt whatsoever, no cant whatsoever, I want to show you some of the unique features they did with their holster. Is they actually put 2 different, or actually 3 different holes to give you different belt loop sizes here that you would adjust based upon your personal preference and the belt that you wear. It is now adjusted for the belt that I've got on. So let me show you just briefly how I might want to go ahead and try this on. Now again, I've told you that I've shown you a lot of carry over here. I showed you one right here. One other version you can do with this inside the waistband holster, especially this Kramer, because of the way it is tilted, is put it right here in your front carry, which would be right in this area. See what I'm going to do? I'm going to find out where it feels comfortable. That's what I want to do first. Then I'm going to snake my belt loops right through it, hook up with the next belt loop underneath it, making sure not to miss any belt loops. You have to find what's going to work best for you through experimentation. The purpose of this video is to show you a whole bunch of different ideas so you can figure out what you like best. Now, I've got that belt cinched really tight. Okay, good. All right, good. So there's my carry. You can see I have something different here. Gun's not here. In case I were to bend over when I'm working, what is really nice about this carry is the gun is right where you know it is. There's no chance that someone can come up from behind you and expose. There's no chance that when you're reaching for something that you will expose the gun. A lot of times when you're working places, if you're working in construction or other areas, it doesn't feel right to have the gun on the back side. Hence, you come into the front side carry, and there it is. You can really get to it fast. You don't even have to know where it is. In a sense, you don't have to look down at it because you can feel it there. It's very comfortable for me to have the gun in that position. Up comes, boom. All right, and again, I'll do another version for you. I love this kind of carry because you really can get fast with it. There it is, and that's the Kramer inside the waistband, inside the pants holster. It's made out of horsehide. That's his particular material that he likes to use, and you can see a lot of advertising from the Kramer holster. I think you'll find it is an excellent holster to deal with. One of the challenges of concealed carry is carrying in the summer or the hotter months because you don't have as much clothing to carry or conceal the firearm with. Carry either in your pocket or conceal with a coat. That's why we're going to devote this segment to shorts and gym shorts and other things. What I like for concealed carry in this particular instance, this is somewhat of a summer carry. You can see it very casual. You know, I would wear something like this all day long. Is this carry here in the inside of the waistband? All right, that's what I really like more because, again, the gun is somewhere I know it is. I have complete control over it. I don't have to worry about printing or exposing it if I bend over or I reach up. I know that it resides right here. Now, this fits well for my particular body style. I could very easily flip this around to the back and have a similar style of carry, just like so. And I'm not even going to go ahead and snap it shut around the belt just for demonstration purposes. You can see that, again, here it is. It's concealed when it's there, but when you start to bend over, do any kind of work, then you start to print, all right? Reaching up has a chance to print as well. The draw is not nearly as fast because I have a much more difficult time of getting to the gun and being able to withdraw the pistol. So you'll see that for my particular body style and for the practice that I've done, I really like it in this front carry position. You've got to determine what's going to work best for you and your particular carry style and the type of clothing you wear. If you have to have your shirt tail tucked in, obviously this type of carry is not going to work. The next category of holsters are paddle and clip holsters. And when I say paddle or clip, I'll show you basically what I mean. The clips fall into this category where you actually have a clip that goes around your belt. And the paddles fall into this category where the paddle actually fits into your body or into your belt, inside of your pants, and the holster remains on the outside. Let me go ahead and show you what I've got on right now. First, I've got a clip holster on. This is a Bianchi design. It's holding my SIG. Gun's unloaded, of course. I'll show you what I mean. You can just basically can pull this off like that. There's the big, strong metal clip on the outside of the holster itself. And to put this on, basically, you just kind of get it started on your belt, figure out where you want to wear it. Muscle it down in there, make sure it's in there good, because it will take a little bit of effort to get it off. Then we just go ahead and holster our handgun with the same technique that we've always talked about, and you've got a gun that is able to be concealed with an outer garment. Immediately, you're going to start to see how these holsters that are not inside the waistband tend to stick out like this. They start to have a greater profile, especially this design. It's just the nature of these holsters. This next paddle holster is designed and marketed by Safariland. I like this one very much so. It's carrying the, it's designed and carrying the 1911 Colt 45 and 5-inch. And basically what this does, it enables you to put the holster on without removing your belt. So it really can come into play for people who don't want to wear a holster all day, but if you've got to carry a gun, you can just slip the holster right on. There is a clip down here below that will actually clip on the bottom of my belt. I want to make sure that I engage that so that when I go to pull the holster out, it grabs hold of that clip. So when I need to go and pull the gun, out it comes. You can see this is a brand new holster, so it wants to hold on to the gun somewhat. Then to reholster, there we go. You can see how it's designed to cover the trigger guard, keep the gun close to my body, and give me an ability to conceal a weapon. Here's another Safariland item. It's an inside the pants clip holster. And you can see how the clip attaches to my belt. I'll go ahead and take off the holster for you so we can see what we're talking about. It's designed to carry this little Smith & Wesson 442. The clip, there it is. It has a little latch right down there on the bottom that wants to attach to my belt. I can find a variety of places to hold this thing and to use that clip. I had it there in the front portion of my belt. Now let's take it back to the rear, get that clip to stick on there. You can see how the gun really gets buried inside of your body, and this small gun, because it is inside the waistband and in this little clip, can be very well secure. It does have a little thumb snap that will keep the gun in place. When I want to access it, just open the snap, bring up the gun. Go to reholster. Always want to make sure that I can get back in there. Bring my snap down and snap it in place. And the last clip holster we're going to show you is a small mini clip holster for a minigun for the small little Beretta 25. You can see here it's got a little retaining strap. We'll go ahead and take it off for us. You can see what we're talking about. It's just a small little holster that is designed to hold a real small little gun. And basically what I can do is just slip it on over my belt. Make sure it's all the way down there so it has something to hold on to. And there it is, and you can see that a gun like this, being so light, is something that you can just forget about. It basically feels like a pager. When you need it, you can bring it up into play. It's just that easy, and plus this little retaining strap really gives you a sense of security because you do know that it takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of extra time just to get that out of there. So if I were to go ahead and access it, I could just basically rest my hand on it, take off the snap, and bring up the gun. That's how they work. Now this next category of holsters we're going to see is probably the sexiest of all holsters. It's the shoulder holster. All right, let me go ahead and show you what we're talking about here. The whole harness and the way it's all set up can easily be concealed by a jacket, by a long shirt, by whatever you can put on over top of what you're wearing. You could also have a sweatshirt over this, and I'll show you that in just a moment. This is a left-handed version. I'm showing you the left-handed version so you understand that holsters are made in left and right. It's concealing a full-size Glock. Again, I'm always going to check to make sure that gun's unloaded before I do a whole lot with it. I'm not left-handed, but I wanted you to see basically what we're talking about here. Most shoulder holsters will have a snap to retain the gun. This is designed by Safariland. You can see what they've got here is they have some tie-down straps on both sides. Right here's another one, and in the middle to kind of further secure the gun. This holster needs more adjustment, not this in particular, but all shoulder holsters need more adjustment than almost any other holster because they really need to fit your body. And depending upon how you like to carry the gun and where you like to draw for it, some of the shoulder holsters can be adjusted to hold the gun very high up in your armpit. Others, some people like to have it hang a little low. The idea is really it's got to fit your body. You've got to try it out. You've got to test it. I will urge you again, when you get your holster, try it on, wear it around the house, play with it. In the privacy of your own room with no one watching, you can go ahead and execute some dry fires to see how they work. All right, another shoulder holster that I'm wearing now, as you can see, it's easily concealed, carrying a full-size 45, is Galco's version of the shoulder holster. And this one, much like the Safariland, they're all really basically the same design, have a cross on the back. You're going to find that the comfort depends upon your own ability. This is a right-handed draw. It's got a thumb brake. I'll go ahead in there, demonstrate the thumb brake, pull out the gun, execute your presentation. I think from my experimentation that I've found that the shoulder holsters really have to be worn a lot to determine what place you really want to carry it, okay? You just can't try it out once. I'm suggesting that you try it out 2 or 3 different occasions for 2 or 3 hours at a time to really figure out which one feels right. This holster does come with some optional tie-down straps on both sides here to tie down these parts, so if you're running a lot, they won't be flapping all over the place. And yet another shoulder holster. This one is from Bianchi. This is their X16 model. It's designed to fit this full-size Glock. Has a thumb brake snap over here. The Glock goes in, same way. Push it in nice and securely. Come down with your snap. Snap it shut. One thing that I haven't shown you, all the shoulder holsters that we've seen so far do have a spare magazine pouch over here on this side and pull out the extra spare Glock magazine that I've got, and you can put it back in. And they are kind of tight, so again, you're going to have to work with these holsters before you put them on. And when I say work with them, start to move that gun in and out, move the magazine in and out of the respective pouches. Use a little bit of the silicone spray if you have to. Now let's see what this looks like in a concealed carry version with a sweatshirt. Now with the sweatshirt over top of the shoulder holster, just to give you an idea how you can work with this holster concealed, you can see that it is rather concealed. And of course I've got the black on black. It makes it much more difficult to see, especially here on the camera. And it will also hold true when you're out in the real world. Darker colors will have a tendency to hide the bumps a little better than the lighter colors. Now to access this gun, I just have to reach up inside, make sure I get that firm grip on the gun. Do not try to pull the gun before I have a firm grip. Break the snap, come out, and there I am ready to go into play. I like this form of carry, again, because it is close to my body. It's the front part of my body. I know where it's at all times. I've got two more shoulder holsters to show you, so let's move on. Now here's another shoulder holster. You can see that I've got my concealed cover on top. What I'm wearing is a shoulder holster for a revolver. This is a Bianchi design. There are no snaps. Rather, there is a steel clip inside the leather that compresses, a spring clip that compresses around the gun to hold it in a secure place. It has a tie-down strap here underneath my belt. I'll take it off so you can see the entire apparatus. And then when I want to draw, you just have to pull it straight down and out. Now, of course, I accentuated that whole deal there just to emphasize the motion, and it will be a little smoother this time. Come up, grab the gun, and up you go. So it can be rather quick if, of course, you practice. Now, we've talked about all the concealment techniques, and so I don't need to show you how to cover this up. I do want to show you a unique design developed by John Bianchi, sold by Safariland. It's the Gun Quick design, and there's several reasons it's unique. One, it is, as you can see, a very small system, not a lot of bulk. Does have room for a spare magazine pouch here. And it's got a unique carry system that is totally adjustable to fit just about any automatic gun you have, any mid to large frame automatic gun you have. And the drawing technique on this is very unusual. You just pull it out, and out comes the holster, or out comes the gun, excuse me. To reholster, come back in, keeping the finger off of the trigger, underneath the spring, up, and away it goes. So you can see it's a kind of a unique system in the sense that it is totally adjustable. If you look back here on the side, you'll see that this nose piece, or where the muzzle goes in, can adjust according to the holes in the frame of the holster. And this spring adjusts totally too. To accomplish this draw, we basically go in, just pull the string, out comes the gun. You pull on the string and dip the muzzle down and then come back up. To reholster, come back in, hook it, and put it back in like that. So it's really a unique system developed by John Bianchi and sold by Safariland, and I thought that you should see it. The next category of holsters we're going to talk about are pocket holsters and one wallet holster. I've got 4 pocket holsters to show you and 1 wallet holster. Now what's nice about a pocket holster is that it enables you to walk around in the normal case of your daily business with your hand on the gun. And then when you need the gun, out it comes when you need it. Just like that. Now there is a little technique there so that you don't draw the holster with the gun, and I'm going to talk about what that is. Basically what we're trying to do, and I'll bring the holster out, is catch the holster on the corner of the pocket. So as I come up, I want to catch it to bring it up. Now you will find that if you practice, and I suggest you do, just like every one of the holsters you need to work with, that if you just have it in the pants like that, and it is very concealable, if you pull it straight out, it'll come straight out. If you pull it out and you catch it, then you can get the gun out without the holster. So it does take a little bit of technique, takes a little bit of practice. Again, I am always working with an unloaded gun. Make sure that you are too, okay? This is the pocket holster built by Ian Handgun Leather. You can see that it fits the gun very nicely. On the reverse side, has a little bit of a rough edge of the leather for friction inside the pocket, so it does have something to grab on when you're drawing. And it also conceals the entire profile or outline of the gun. You can basically carry it in your pocket, and people may just think it's a wallet or a big wad of money. But again, when you pull it, make sure you catch it. And that time, of course, I did it bad, but I'll get it this time. There you go. It does take some practice. Next one I want to show you here as I move along is another design very similar, but built by Kramer. This one is the Horside leather holster. Goes in your pocket like so. You can see again it hides the profile, very similar to the other holster. Again, I've got to do the same thing. I've got to make sure that I try to catch it as I come out. Otherwise, that holster will come right out with the gun, and that's the last thing you want to happen. Now, the reason you use a pocket holster versus just the gun in your pocket, all right, if you're going to carry a gun here like this on a regular basis for any long term, I tell you, carry it for 2 or 3 days, you're going to wear a hole in your pocket. Remember, you've got about a half a pound of steel here, and you've got just a small, thin piece of cloth. So eventually, and I can't tell you exactly how long, but I'm going to tell you for sure, if you carry this gun in your pocket like that, without a holster at all, you're going to wear a hole in your pocket. It's just the law of averages. It's going to happen. So there is that Kramer holster, and you can see how it looks. Again, as you draw, make sure you catch it and come into play with the draw. Next one I want to show you is Galco's pocket holster. It's a little different design, a little larger. Designed to go in something like this. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I don't have it too tight in there. This is brand new. I haven't really worked with this one at all. I just got Galco stuff 2 days ago. Very impressed with it though. And you can see what this does for me. It gives me a little bit larger profile. Now if I go ahead and stretch it for you, you still can't really tell that it's a gun. But if I walk around normal, which is how I normally stand, you barely can see what I've got in there. I can actually have my hand on the gun. I can actually go ahead and prepare to draw, and out comes the gun very quickly. Because, of course, you're starting with your hand on the gun. And last, in this category that I'll show you, is a really unique holster that may not be legal in all states. So please check into your local laws. This is a wallet holster. That's how it works. It's made by Galco. It conceals the Beretta 950 .25 caliber inside a wallet-looking device, but allows you to shoot without taking the gun out of the holster. Now what you do is you can work this in your back pocket or your front pocket. I'll put it in my back first just to kind of show you what it looks like. And this works well with any kind of pants that have somewhat of a pocket, but it certainly looks like a wallet to me. Someone says, hey, I want your wallet. Okay, just go in there, get a good grip on it, but while it's in the pocket, bring it out, and there it is. Again, you can also put that in the front pocket. There it is, looks like a wallet. Come in, come out, squeeze the shot off. Ankle holsters are very useful for certain applications. And one of the nice things about ankle holsters are that they really do take the gun away from traditional methods of carry. There's nothing around your waist, nothing to worry about exposing. If you've got the right trousers on with just enough bagginess in them, you can conceal an ankle holster with a medium-sized gun in it. I'm wearing Dockers, Levi Dockers. You can see down below here, you really can't see if there's anything in either one of my legs. Which one is it in? Well, I'm going to tell you it's in my left leg. Most people are going to carry it in their left leg if they're right-handed. Bring it up here, and you can see I'm wearing Galco's ankle holster. And what I wanted to show you is that they have a unique system where they have a support strap that goes up above to keep the holster from shimmying itself down. This is totally adjustable with a Velcro strap here, depending upon the length of your leg, obviously. And I do have the Smith & Wesson 442 in it. I'll withdraw the gun. Of course, I'm going to make sure that it is empty, as usual, as you should always do. And now I'm going to show you how this holster fits. Basically, it's got a nice wetsuit material, and behind it's got a little bit of the fleece-like material, Velcro locking system. Very comfortable to wear. This is a real comfortable holster. I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the bottom part of my ankle. Bring this guy up here. This is the support strap up to the top, above the muscle, so it won't slide down by itself. Make sure that I have that somewhat secure. Now I'll just work my pant leg down a little bit, grab the gun, place it into the holster, seat it fully, make sure it's really seated, and then bring the pants over top, let them come down by themselves, and voila, that is the ankle holster. This is Galco's version. This holster was made by Acre Leather. It's Velcro, fits on, has a pad here. But the first thing I want you to notice is how I like to wear this holster. Traditionally, a lot of people would think that you could wear it over here on this side straight up and down your leg. And I find that that's rather uncomfortable because you have a tendency to bang the gun into your other leg. I found that if I wear it or tuck it underneath my calf in the lower part here, pull this rather tight so I can get a good bite on it so it's not going anywhere, and hold it down under here, it's much more comfortable because as I walk, I won't bang the gun into my leg or other ankle, which can be very painful. And then, of course, I just draped the pant over there. You've got to wear some baggy trousers or dress trousers to make this effective as far as concealment. But it does actually conceal the gun rather nicely. Now, I'm going to show you 3 different techniques in which to draw this gun. The first technique requires a little bit of balance, a little bit of agility, and that's just bring the gun up, open up, come down, and draw. The next technique, which I'll show you, is another one, and that is one that you've probably read about or seen in some of the magazines, where you come up, you go down, pull, and draw. All right? And I'll go ahead and reholster here. Now this one I like for some reasons and I don't like for other reasons. If you have cover, such as an automobile that you're able to get below, I'll use this chair as an example. If this is my automobile and the car is going that way, the front of the car is out there, I would go down, get below the car, draw the holster, and stay below the cover. What I don't like about this position, if you don't have cover, is the tendency to get down there, and now look where my head is at. As I draw for the gun, if the bad guy has a weapon and he's going to shoot at me, I'm really about head level. I'm setting myself up for a headshot. Another thing about this position is I limit my mobility. I don't have a chance to move because I'm off of my feet. I'm down on one knee. The last position I'd like to talk about is when you're driving your car or you're in a restaurant, you're sitting at a table or a desk, and you can actually go for the gun, just lifting the pan up before anybody sees what's going on as you have a conversation and bring the gun into play. And this is one of the places where an ankle holster really can be quite effective, especially if you're, say, a police officer, a truck driver, someone who's sitting a lot and not doing a whole lot of walking. You have the ability to go for the gun before anybody really sees what's happening and bring the gun up into play from a seated position. Ankle holsters can be extremely effective. A holster that has become very popular recently is the belly band style holsters, and there's some good reasons too, because they really are effective in carrying a gun concealed. One of the things that you'll notice here is that I've got no holsters on my belt whatsoever. However, I do have a gun that is readily accessible and held close to my body. There's a mid-sized Glock. And I'll go ahead and take this shirt down so you can kind of see what we're talking about. The belly band holsters are available from a variety of different manufacturers. They all work on the same concept. They use a medical grade elastic. They have a pouch for the gun. Some have shoulder straps, some do not. What I like about belly band holsters is that they really can carry a variety of different guns with just one holster. This one is designed to accept, I would say, probably almost all the guns I have on the table here somewhat comfortably too. The fact that it is close to my body, I mean pressed close to my body, in front of my body, with the shirt on around it, over top, tucked in, gives me an added sense of security. I do know where the gun is at all times. It doesn't hang or drag on my hips. I can wear this without a belt. I can wear it with shorts, with gym shorts, with a swimsuit and some kind of shirt over top of it. If you have this medical grade elastic close to your body, it does start to irritate, gets a little sweaty, a little bit hot, and I think most people who've worn these would agree with that. So you'll find that it's probably more comfortable to wear this type of holster with an undershirt, a t-shirt, then the elastic on top of it, then a shirt over top of that. No one will suspect that you do have the gun. The gun is relatively easily available right there, and like I said, it's designed to fit a variety of different handguns. All you've got to do is make sure that you just put it in there properly, hold it nice and tight, look at it, and you can also adjust this whole apparatus around for other forms of carry. Now look at that. That's a really nice, secure form of carry right there up against my ribs, very tight in at the body. No one knows you have it. A little bit harder to draw there because you have to get all the way in, have to have a lot of access. If I had it on the other side, back here, like so, back that way, and my shirt were tucked in, all I would have to do is possibly unbutton one of the buttons or two of the buttons to get in around there to get access, break it free, and come out and execute the shot. Safariland has developed this next holster, and it's designed to give you a little bit more concealment and a little bit more surprise, because when you would look at someone like this, you would suspect that they'd have a holster back here, and it's not there. It's in fact nowhere to be found except right there on the side. And the idea is that you can wear a jacket open. No one can see that there is, in fact, a holster or a belly band present. However, if I need the gun, there it is. It's got a thumb brake. Break it and come up. Now, what this is designed around is an underband that is basically underneath here, and here it is right here. And then these posts that are part of this underband right here, in fact, I'll go ahead and lift it up for you so you can see it, are where I mount the holster. And the whole concept is that you can wear a full holster close to your body without a gun belt. The underbelt provides you with the strength, the support for the system itself. So it goes on rather simply. You can see you basically just attach it to the post, bring it over to the next post, just bend it in there, and it's supposed to have a little bit of tension, so once you get it locked in, then it's not going anywhere. Imagine I'd be tucking my shirt tail in, can conceal it, grab the gun, holster, use the retaining snap, conceal. I'm good to go. When I need it, just get in there, pull, and we're ready to shoot. Another way to handle this summer or beach attire is with your fanny pack. And these have become very, very popular over the past several years. In fact, almost too popular, because whenever someone in the gun industry sees a nylon type fanny pack like this, you almost always think that it is a gun holster. However, they are very effective, and what's nice about them is it allows you to carry the gun with barely any clothing. I could have no shirt, I could really basically have a swimsuit on and be carrying a gun in my fanny pack. And you'll see that a lot of off-duty police officers do use these. This one is manufactured by Bianchi. The object is you open it, there's the gun, out it comes, and you're ready to present the pistol to the target. This is the smaller version, carries a smaller gun, has a very small pouch back here, and it is the Velcro. So again, you have full access to all your pockets. Put it in your change, wallet, any other items there, your keys. But when you need the gun, one quick grip, exposes, and out you come. All right, so that's the Bianchi version. I want to show you one other version that I think is quite ingenious and very effective. It's manufactured by Coronado Leather, and this is it right here. Again, it goes on the same way as you would expect. What's nice about this, it does have a loop back here that you can put your belt through for added security, so it's not going to go anywhere if you're totally concerned about that. And you could go ahead and snap that shut. This is a full leather type fanny pack, a little bit more, say, dressier than your canvas or ballistic nylon. When you want to get to the gun, you basically are going to go ahead and grab hold of the corners, pull it down, reach in, and go for the pistol with the presentation. Again, the same concept is that you can zip it shut. No one knows you have a gun. You can even snap this around so you can't even see the actual zipper, so there's no way to really tell that this would be, in fact, a gun carry system. When you need it, just get it, grab it, rip it open, out it comes. It seems like everybody's got a pager nowadays. Well, not everybody's got a pager like this one. This is the PagerPal holster. Up comes the gun. It's a nice little pouch that holds the gun into. You can almost put just about any size gun in there. This is a mid-sized 1911 style. You can wear this on either side, whichever is more comfortable for you, whichever is more natural for you. The idea is to get the entire grip down below your belt line and just have the pager hook on just so the gun doesn't go any further. And you can see if you wear this a little bit more, I've got it actually on my, the grip is on my hip too much. I'm only wearing on this side, it will actually conceal a little better. And that's more like it. Just like that, you really can't tell at all that I have anything on besides a pager. And when you want the gun, it's again, you just go ahead and grab hold of the pager, bring it straight up, and there it is. So that's the Pager Pal, and it's in one of the categories that I like to call, well, our exotic carry holsters. Sometimes the most comfortable and concealed carry is, in fact, the simplest. And what I'm going to show you now is a very simple design that's been around for many years. It's the Baramy hip grip. And if you look closely, you can see that I do, in fact, have a revolver here on my hip, and there is no holster whatsoever. Nothing in here to hold it. What there is, though, is the design of the grip. Keep the gun unloaded. You'll see what is happening here. These are replacement grips that go on aftermarket, after factory. This portion of the grip for right-handed shooters is extended so that it can grab hold of either your belt or your pant top. And that's what I prefer to do, is I like to find a spot for it, put it right there in front of my pant, and then have the belt hold it down. And you can see that it really starts to blend in. Even more effective if I go ahead and I put it around back here. Put it right back in there. And then it's really buried and very hard to see. Even if you're looking for it, you don't know it's there. Drop a shirt over top of it. There's no holster. There's nothing to expose. You can lift it all the way up. Even if your shirt comes all the way up, people really can't see that grip, and even if they do see it, they may not know what it is. However, if you need the gun, it's instantly available. And that's what's nice about these Baramy hip grips. Along the same lines of carrying concealed without a true holster is this unique cutout book. It's cut out to accept a mid-sized firearm. I've got it now, the Taurus PT-22, the 22 caliber version of this. And you can see that it is rather simple, rather unique, a very inexpensive item, not child-proof in any way. You don't want to store a gun in here on a long-term basis, but something that you could carry with you or develop a regimen where you could store it safely when you are present. You never want to leave this by itself somewhere, especially if you have small children in your house. You'll see here that if you look closely, the pages are actually nailed shut, so there's no opportunity for it to open up, although you could probably even put a rubber band around it or some kind of retaining strap to keep the lid on. It is quite effective in holding a firearm, and not many people are going to know it's there. This next item is really a great product because it does offer you a chance to conceal a full-sized gun without anything being on your body, and you do have it available to you. It's excellent for, say, executives or people who don't want to carry a gun all the time but want to have it for trips from the office to the car, from the house to the car, to the ATM machine, in those danger spots where things could happen and you do want to have a gun. And there's two new unique features that I like about this. First of all, I'll show you that it does and can operate just like a standard briefcase. I mean, you can actually put items in here. You can use it just like you would use another briefcase. I've got that gun carrying book in there just for a prop at this time. But what I will show you is that, of course, the compartment to conceal is in the middle. You can reach in there, grab that gun, and of course do what you have to do should the situation arise. The nice feature about this is that you can, one, just use it as a regular briefcase, two, throw it over your shoulder, knowing that if you see danger or something's happening, you can get to it rather quickly. Or what I prefer, especially if I'm at the office late, I'm going out to my car, it's very late, it's dark, I'm the only person around, the parking lot is empty, I will go ahead and actually walk out with my hand on the gun. Just actually keep this thing there like that, knowing that I've got my hand on the gun, it's secure, I can actually shoot right through the bag should I desire, or if I have to, I can draw when I need to.
This same information applies to ladies' purses. Now, any purse could do, but several manufacturers make purses designed specifically to carry firearms, with a hidden Velcro enclosure that conceals the handgun. Now, the key remains the same. You've got to open or clear the purse and get your hand on the firearm and then present to the target. Now, here's something unique. It looks like a daytimer or address book, but it really carries a full-sized handgun with different inserts available for most different models.
Now, I normally don't like to carry anything around my wrist, but in this particular instance, I found that working with this daytimer type holster or concealment carry method, that it gives me better dexterity. And I'll show you my technique, what I've developed here. This Glock is loaded. Got a target down there about 7 feet. What I've found is that I could walk very comfortably, just as you would expect, like any other book. But the way that I like to draw with this is to be able to hold on to the bottom half of it, pop up, come up, execute the shot. Now, I've been working with this a little bit, and I found that's my best bet. You could always do the stealth technique, too, where you just go in there. No one can see your hand, especially from this downrange shot. Or, again, just pop it, clear. Gives you a lot of surprise because you can really use a lot of positioning to hide the gun and what you're doing. No one knows. Thinks you're going for a wallet. Come up. Come up. Come up. There's the shot. In the same category as unusual concealment devices, this next item, well, it's rather ideal for people who work in a liquor store environment, a gun store environment, or any retail environment in which you need to have a concealed weapon handy, but don't necessarily want to carry it on your person, or you want to have it close to, say, the cash register. What it is called a hide-a-gun. There it is. And you can see the close-up of what the device is underneath the table there. It's designed to keep a gun securely under a desk or under a table or under a countertop. That's a brass post there that is sized to fit the diameter of the gun that you wish to conceal or wish to hold underneath that desk or underneath that countertop. The gun will sit there on that vertical or horizontal plane. You can also adjust it to be on the other side if you're left-handed, or if you wanted the gun to hang like so, you can also have it do that. This is really for an adult use in a retail environment, or if you have no children ever coming to your house, you can use this. But it certainly does make the gun accessible instantly. So as you saw from the introduction title page to this segment, who needs a holster? If you're very creative, if you're very inventive, you can find many different ways in which to carry a gun without a holster whatsoever, and to have it completely concealed. As an example, here is that Smith & Wesson 442, which I consider to be one of the ultimate concealment weapons, simply because of its size, of its weight, and the fact that it does, in fact, shoot the .38 special caliber, which is a proven effective round in a self-defense situation. Now, this gun in my hand, carrying it like this, it certainly looks like a gun, and it has the profile of a gun. Look at it. When you see it from a distance, you know it's a gun. Everybody's tuned to think about the barrel. However, if I just shift it down a little bit like that, keeping my finger away from the muzzle, what do we have? You really don't know, do you? There is exactly what I'm trying to tell you, that the way that you carry the gun, depending upon the circumstance, will also show or also give you the ability to conceal, think about that, conceal the gun, because the person who's at a distance at 20 feet or even maybe even 10 or 15 feet won't be able to tell what is in my hand. It's a black gun. I have it there. What is it now? You really can't tell. Could be a set of keys. What is it now? Go ahead, put it right basically in my pocket. You just don't know. So when I talk about concealed carry and who needs a holster, there's a million different ways for you to carry a gun. Now let's talk about a little larger gun, and I'll use this stainless 686 or nickel 686, and think about this. There's a concealed gun. You are the person I'm concealing it from. Can't see it here. Can't see it here. You really don't know. This is still concealed. This is still concealed. You just can't see it, okay? Up here, of course, it looks like a gun. You know it's a gun. But what if I, again, alter my grip, bring it down here a little bit? From a distance, people are not going to be able to tell that you have a gun in your hand. We're talking about concealed carry here for short distances, just walking from the office to your car. You don't want to necessarily walk out like this because, well, that's not really kosher. That's not really proper. But you can walk out with the gun in your hand like this, and no one's going to see it. No one's going to know what it is. No one's going to be terrified. No one's going to notify the police because at this point, they just can't tell what it is. Here's another very effective way that I like to carry a gun when I'm, say, leaving my office late at night and I've got some things in my hand. I like to kind of put it up under my armpit. Not many people are going to be able to tell what you have based upon your body posture, especially if your hands are moving. Now, this is a larger gun. If I were to take any of the smaller guns, that 442 again, stick it under my armpit, you really can't see it. Look all the way around. Can you see that I have a gun there? Not really, but it is available if I need it. Think about even this mid-size Glock. This is a Model 19, up under the arm. The muzzle's pointed in a safe direction. It's not intersecting my skin whatsoever. It's pointed straight out. But from straight on, I could basically sit here and hold a conversation with you, talk to you for 4 or 5 or 6 minutes, and not be fatigued whatsoever. Just keep the gun there, rest my hand like this, talk, and not have a problem. Do things, open up my car door, carry things in my hand, carry a stack of magazines, and always have the gun concealed where you can't see it. This works with a just a regular shirt on or a full jacket or whatever, but the carry method is the same, that I do have access to the gun, it's under my arm, and it's out of the way. Another method that I like a lot that obviously everybody has experimented with is just the gun in the pants. All right? This is called your Mexican carry, and I'm not using that in a bad way whatsoever. It's just that's the terminology that was given many, many years ago. And that basically is a very effective way for you to carry a gun for short distances, just in your pants. No one knows you have it. You do your business. And then when you're done, you can basically put it down where you store it. Now, this is for people who don't want to wear a holster, don't want to carry a gun all day. They just want to have it available for when they're in their danger spots, going from the office to the car, from the car to the house, to the ATM machine. Of course, you can also just drop a gun like this right in your pocket. It's there, it's ready. You can walk up to the ATM, do your business, the hand's on the gun. If danger arises, hey, you're ready because you have your hand on the gun. Another pocket pistol, using this small Beretta, is right here in the front pocket. Small enough, light enough that I really don't know it's there. Problem is, it's not real secure. If I bend over, it's going to fall out. But this is for short-term carry. It's very easy to place this gun into a pocket like that, go about, do my business. I know the gun's available at an instant moment. Now, here's something unique, too. I'll show you, this is kind of an interesting carry method. Look at this, rubber bands. Not pretty, but effective. There it is underneath my shirt, my arm, the sleeve. When I need a gun, just come up, grab it, come on out, and there I go. Now, this will also work with a little larger gun, which is this 442. Again, just let's expose the rubber bands. Now, this is not comfortable as far as I wouldn't want to do this all day long. But if I felt that I had no other option, no other place to keep my gun, and I had to do something like this, this is something I want to just make you aware of. This is a way you can carry a gun, and you really don't need a holster. Again, I can move my arm around, I can do things. I can't get real violent with it because the gun will go, but if I need the gun, there it is. All right, just pull it straight through out of those rubber bands, and there you have the gun. That's one area that you can carry. One other thing that I want to show you is using a magazine and or newspaper. Just drop the gun in. How's that for concealed carry? Never know you have it. The key factor is be creative. Think about what you're going to do. I'm going to the from my house to my car. Don't want the neighbor to see I have a gun. Just put it in here. I get to the car, I secure it, and I'm done with it. There's a lot of different ways you can carry a firearm concealed without a holster. But when you need to carry a gun on a regular basis, when you need to carry a gun on a daily basis all day long, that's when you need a holster.
Sometimes, of course, you can just carry a small handgun in your pocket, and if need be, fire right through the pocket.
The 3 A's. Well, here they are. Avoidance, awareness, and attention. The best way to win a gunfight is to avoid a gunfight. The best way to avoid a gunfight is to be aware. The best way to be aware is to pay attention. Now, let me tell you that carrying a handgun in a concealed basis puts you in a unique perspective. You have the ability to think that maybe you can end fights before they begin by presenting the gun, and that's not true. All you're doing at that point is you're escalating the violence, and that's how police officers and juries will look at it. If there's a heated argument, someone's yelling, and you pull a gun out, you never can tell what's going to happen, but why would you pull a gun out for just an argument? Leave. You can only present the gun if you feel that your life or someone close to you is in danger. Their lives are in danger. There's no reason to pull a gun out if it's just an argument. If it's just a street fight or a fist fight or a pushing match, if you pull a gun out, you have escalated the violence, and you in turn may be liable in a court of law. So understand that the best way to win that situation is to avoid it. Now, the best way to avoid that is to be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. When you go into a parking lot, when you leave a safe, secure spot like your house or your place of work or a mall, be aware of what's going on. Look for people, look for situations, look for potential problems. And by being aware, you can stay away and keep distance. There's no reason to pull a gun out if someone is 25, 30 feet away from you. That's just 10 yards. Keep them away. Keep a car between yourself. Be aware of your surroundings and the people. Don't let anybody get into your personal space being an 8-foot, 7-foot circle. Keep people away if you don't know and say, hey, stay away from me. I don't know who you are. I don't need you to get any closer to me. There's no reason for you to pull the gun out. Now, there is a chance for you to put the hand on the gun and command someone, stay away from me, and they may realize that he does have a concealed weapon. I better stay away. But they may not realize that too. So the best bet is to try to keep them away, keep something between you, be aware of your surroundings. And the last A is attention. Pay attention. Always be alert. Don't be preoccupied with your own self, your own business, that you don't have the time to be aware, hence you won't have the time to avoid. All right, so pay attention. The 3 A's, avoidance, awareness, and attention. They could save your life, and avoidance is the most important. Avoid at all points pulling that gun out unless you feel that your life is in danger. There's no reason for you to escalate the violence, and that's what a court of law will look at it. If you present the gun and all of a sudden someone flies off the handle and you shoot him just because all of a sudden he started to run at you because you presented a gun where it was just a street fight in the first place. So you need to realize that the gun will not solve the problem. It could create a problem, and your best bet is to walk away. I'm Lenny McGill. This has been Concealed Carry. Tips, techniques, and secrets of the pros. Thanks for watching.